They say when you wear Black Power Media gear, you can accomplish anything. You play any and every position. Coaching, to kicking, to receiving, to running and juking. And oh my goodness, let's see that again in slow motion. Get off me. And you're going to have a lot of haters coming at you, but what you got to do is you got to shake them off, and get to your goal and accomplish it. And when that's done, it's a beautiful thing. I'm talking about going hard, extra, for that extra point. And when it's done beautifully, you talking about touchdown. Oh, and the crowd goes wild and they're celebrating with you and everything. Man, let's see that again. Nice.
Black Power Media, baby. That's how we do it.
Now go to blackpowermedia.org and get you some of that gear. Empower yourself today. Yeah.
Yes. What's up, world? Welcome to another edition of Earn Your Liberation right here on Black Power Media. Diallo Kenyatta, Geechee Yaw, and I'm Jared Ball, your host. What's up, fellas? How you feeling this morning? Diallo on the run eating. Dory.
What's up, man? Diallo got a new haircut and everything. Look at this brother, man.
Yeah, I'm making papes out of state. Y'all know that one. That's too obscure of an hip hop reference.
No, I figured you were on your victory tour after your mayor got elected.
He ain't my mayor. You know, the moment he became, now that he's a mayor, now he's in a powerful position, I hate his guts.
Oh, okay. All right. Right on.
They supported him while he was an underdog. Now it's time to, get critical and hostile.
Right on.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Geechee? What's going on?
You on tour with Ice?
Huh?
I'm cool. I'm cooling, man. I'm cooling. I ain't on tour like Diallo. He on tour with Ice-T, so think he ain't told you about that. he Ice-T hype man this week.
Wish. Ice-T, if you looking, holla.
What's up to the
Lay
remixes?
dance down and everything.
Oh wow.
The lyrics, so I can, if he get out of breath, I can take over.
So what's the plan for today? We got some earn your leisure, some Tariq Nasheed. It's gonna be a beautiful.
It's Blackfish Fridays.
we got some Black Lives Matter. I don't know if you call it conspiracy, but there's some questions.
I actually looked up. I looked up all the cases.
Wow.
We can talk a little bit about that too. I mean, so
I looked up 3 of them. I got tied at the 3.
Yeah, so we can definitely get into some of that, and then of course, plenty from
the coach's top thought leader,
as well. So, to the remixers coming in, go ahead and as the ear doctor says, tell a friend that it's on again. Go and spread the
message
that we up and running, and for folks to come join you. And
hey,
yeah, go ahead.
Tell the people about your background, man, because I thought you was pouring some Budweiser, but
yeah, no, it's. Thank you, Shirley, for asking. It is we have signed onto the as I was saying, the Beyonce Pepsi World Tour. So we are Earn Your Liberation, sponsored by Pepsi. No, it's soda. Solidarity of dispersed Africans. You know, that's I'm just getting my steady fill of soda because well, I just looked it up. The world tour of Earn Your Leisure is redefining Pan-Africanism. So, you know, we you know, I just wanted to put a reminder of you know, what the importance of solidarity of dispersed Africans really means. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, real quick, shout out to Words, Beats, and Life. I'll be on a panel tomorrow morning in DC, or tomorrow afternoon in DC. I think with the Jeff Chang, but they were out this way in the tree-lined streets last night. So I went out with the family. We went to a youth poetry slam. Saw one half of the legendary Poem Cs. If anybody from the DMV is familiar, Patrick Washington was the event coordinator. Mazi Mutafa was out there, you know, bringing all that good stuff out to these tree-lined streets, you know. And yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. Some good poetry. You know, young people doing their thing. It was good. It was, anyway, so shout out to them and these tree-lined streets. Anyway. All right, so what's up, fella? You ready? So where should we start? What you want to do?
I mean, since we're talking about soda, what's Tariq's group acronym? What is it called?
Foundational Black Americans.
Yeah. Yeah. So Foundational Black America. I guess since we're talking about soda, we can go with them since they are opponents.
The foundation. So I did pull up this announcement that has gone out to the world.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Tariq Nasheed, and I'm inviting you to the Foundational Black American Expo going down May 27th, 2023, right here in the beautiful city of Dallas, Texas. This is an event you don't want to miss. It's going down at the Black Academy of Arts and Letters, and this is an empowerment event that you can invite the whole family to. We're going to have seminars and workshops that discuss things like business development, education, health and wellness, self-defense, and some of you businesses out there, we have vending opportunities where you can promote your businesses. Plus, we're going to have so many phenomenal speakers and guests. We got people like Dr. Boyce Watkins, who's coming down, Professor James Small, Sister Vicky Dillard, Riza Islam, Dr. Kaba Kamene, Ben X, Tahuti Mayad Ra, Erica Lachey, Red Pill, Blue Pill, so many people. So, get your tickets now at FBAExpo.com. That's FBAExpo.com. We will see you here.
So
Where do we start?
Where I want to start is, can we get who's gonna go? That's what I want to know. So
I think now that I think about it, if I'm going, I think I'm gonna need a bodyguard, because if I get jumped there, I'm gonna be mad at both of y'all.
So first of all, who's spending this kind of money to go to Dallas to jump somebody?
Wait, how much is it?
It's $60 for general admission, $100 for prime seating.
Oh no.
$300 for VIP, where you get a complimentary gift bag and priority seating at all the events, and a wristband. A $500. See, this is what we would need. This is what we need. Maybe we need to do it in EYL crowdfund, and Earn Your Liberation crowdfund, to get you, because we need you into these exclusive souvenir program. Well, you get an exclusive souvenir program, but we need you to an exclusive pass to take photos, and have a meet and greet with the featured guests, celebrities, and panelists. That's only $500.
Meet and greet, not roundtable discussion, or exchange, but
No. You're not going to build with them. That doesn't, And if your vendors $3.99, general vendors $7.99, food vendors $3.99, general vendors $7.99, VIP vendors $9.99.
wait, what you get with that?
A booth in a prime high traffic location, multiple tables and chairs for your products, and you're allowed to bring 6 additional people with you to assist. Plus, you get your name and business listed in the souvenir program for the convention.
Time to sell some BPM t-shirts.
Maybe we should. It's only $1,000
For 6 people, for 7 people?
and 7 people get access.
If you entered the movement, if you enter the movement as a reformed pimp and a hustler, I think you should not be wearing purple suits. Purple suits as you promote whatever you're doing. I mean, I heard of a wolf in sheep's clothing, but I never heard of a wolf in wolf clothing. I mean, he looks the part, man. Why do you look like what you are? I thought, give me something,
Diallo, you gotta pump your brakes, because I just sent y'all a video. He is in Hawaii, right? He's in Hawaii right now, and he says a sure sign to see a fake activist or a fake person is if you start talking about Tariq. So if you talk about him, that concludes that you're a fake actual person. So,
but I'm not criticizing. I'm not talking bad. I'm consulting.
Oh, okay.
So
Consulting.
I don't think we can play it because it won't play through. But unless you have the link to the actual video, Geechee. But just so people will, this is the video of Tariq telling people that you can't trust grassroots groups. And I don't think you can hear it, right?
Can't trust grassroots groups. He said the yardstick in order to determine or measure the authenticity of activists and organizations is their position on him.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find an individual or a group that is critical or hostile towards Tariq Nasheed, you can be guaranteed that they are not just fake, but they are government sponsored, because the government is creating fake revolutionary groups and hiring individuals to besmirch his good name.
He did say that. And I just want to emphasize so people don't think you were joking or just whatever. He literally says in that video, I am the measuring stick. That if people don't like me, they're funded by agents. And then he also says right after that, he says, I don't really even know who they are. I don't really know nothing about them. I just know that they're funded.
Let me say this. Can I say this, y'all? I got one thing to ask. Where do I submit my invoice? If the government's paying people to hate on Tariq Nasheed and to criticize Tariq Nasheed and clown Tariq Nasheed, if the government is paying, where do I submit my invoice? I mean, where is the human resources that the government human resource department for professional haterism? Because you paid.
Geechee, is what you sent already queued to the spot? You're muted.
It's around at the 10-minute mark. I don't think it started at the spot, but at the 10-minute mark, that's when he started, getting his prophecies about how to discover an agent.
Because
101.
I mean,
secretly, one of the rules is for them to attack me. They're told
go back some
to attack me, and every one of these organizations has some little funny vibe about me, and I don't even know these people like that. But these people
Funny vibe,
unprovoked, funny style vibe against me. That should be a red flag right there. All right. When you start looking into these people's behavior, look at the people who have a funny style vibe against me, and notice they don't really have anything popping, or notice they don't get anything done, or notice how they do shit to undermine everybody. Notice that. I want you to look at every single telltale sign of these people. Any of these people who try to instigate some kind of beef with me, one, they never have anything going, some type of unprovoked beef. They never have nothing going. They're either funded by some white benefactor, some white supremacist organization, or some intelligence organization. And they waste a lot of time plebiscite babbling, and when something gets going on, they're the main ones to undermine it.
Anyway.
So listen, I don't know if you just learned the word plebiscite, but yo be using plebiscite babbling maybe 15 times in a couple of videos I saw.
That was the word of the day, apparently.
Funny style.
If you have a funny style, so that's fascinating. And you're right. Where's the human resources department?
I'm about to get paid
because we're leaving money on the table. Clearly,
I'm on tape clowning this dude for years. So if somebody's paying for that,
and then I found another video. I did I ended up not fully a deep dive, but like a medium swim, and apparently the museum that he was fundraising for, the building is not the big building he promised, and he's turned it into a club. He's saying it's in part a club and
an event space. You could rent it out for your birthday.
And he raised like $1.1 million for this thing.
Listen, man.
We focus on the wrong person. We Umar doing way better than him at this point.
No. Umar only got about $800,000 for his school.
But at least he got an old ass school building as opposed to he trying to make a club. So I mean, he doing something for the church.
If you had to go to a Umar school or a Tariq club, which one you picking? I'm Tariq club all day. Tariq club all day. I'm gonna find me my flyest purple suit, and I'm gonna go. I go sit in a musty ass classroom. So yeah. If I'm gonna be conned, I'd rather be conned out of a club party museum, twerking up on statues. Listen, I'd rather go to a party museum than a musty ass and then Umar wasn't even gonna let no ladies in the school. It's an all boys school. Go to no all male no exclusively alpha male space. Too musty. I'd rather go to ladies' night at the African Foundational Black American Museum.
Right.
Yep.
I don't want to get his best.
Jared, you come with me.
I'm with you.
DC trying to be righteous. Take your ass to the musty school. Me and Ball gonna be kicking it. We gonna come up with some dance routine. We gonna hit the door like, man.
We gonna kid and play. We gonna kid and play our way in.
Hell yeah.
Club.
And we already know who's who in that ensemble too. So go on and be the good guy, be the righteous man, and go to the Umar school.
I'm going to
be kicking it.
I'm going to save the kids.
Oh man.
Yeah, go on. All boys, we be up there with the ladies' night.
Hey, we've been asked, are y'all gonna put Tariq name in the title? Please do. I want to see the hilarity ensue from his cult-like audience invading your comment section.
That'll be.
I don't know. We can maybe clip this and put it up. I don't have a problem with that.
Listen, if you got a problem with Tariq, just call Michael Moore. He'll put him in check.
What do you mean? I'm missing that one. What happened there?
You didn't see him in Michael Moore's documentary? That's a classic.
Which documentary?
He was a pimp in Michael Moore's documentary, Pimpin' Congress.
No.
Y'all bugging.
No.
Hold on.
Diallo, you gotta stop trolling us on a Friday morning, man.
I'm not joking. It's one of my favorite. Here, I'll show you.
He can't be serious, man.
Yeah, it's a two-parter.
He can't be serious.
Real talk. Hold on.
Hey, so why Diallo looking at that, Jared?
Oh man,
what's
Here it is. I thought everybody knew about this. This is a classic.
But what's the difference
There it
between
is.
Hold
the
on.
difference between undermining somebody's stuff and giving critiques? Because I know we said that, and obviously when the people come in the chats, they're gonna say, "Oh, here you go, undermining them, talking shit." So what's the difference between undermining, critique, and a principal critique?
Listen, I'll speak for myself. My criticism is first of all, obviously, I don't like the idea of black people pimping Black Revolution by ripping off their own community and selling them fantasies about what revolution is. But it to me is just it's so on some level my criticism, my fun with this is meant to undermine his effectiveness in doing what he's doing. He's not doing anything that's going to help anybody. But anyway, so that's just my 2 cents.
My problem is anybody wearing an S curl and a pencil thin goatee after 1997. Again, I'm done with the righteousness. I'm gonna just keep shit 100.
So that's
pencil
funny
thin,
because
this is the beard, either full beard or nothing. No curating the face. This is the alpha male era. This is the 2000s. Pencil thin goatees. Who want to have your barber sitting there walking that line down your cheek? No. Didn't he make an anti-gay documentary? He had to get that thing lined up and cut down. So and he got an S curl.
He protests too much. Is that what you said? Hold on. Here we go.
These are real insults. So let me submit.
The difference between a prostitute and a politician. A prostitute gives clients sexual favors. A politician, like Congressman Bill Thomas, gives corporations political favors. A prostitute takes money from guys who can't get any, whereas a politician like Tom DeLay takes money from guys who can't get enough. Prostitutes go to jail for turning tricks, while politicians stay out of jail by using their bag of tricks. A prostitute makes $30,000 a year the hard way, whereas a politician like Senator Frank Murkowski makes money the easy way. $120,000 a year from us, and a couple $100,000 more from hard-up oil executives. Actually, the only difference between a prostitute and a politician is that a prostitute has a pimp keeping an eye on her, and a politician doesn't. Until now.
Anybody can say there's a pimp. I go to a club, a lot of young guys, I'm a pimp, I'm a pimp, I'm a pimp. But you can tell them the attitude. I even wrote a book on the game, man. I got a book. I'm one of the 5 pimps in history to actually have a book about the game. That's why I'm so well known around the country, besides my impeccable pimping skills.
So do you think the way I'm looking at this is off, or do you think it's on? Because I look at Congress.
I think I'll be making this shit up.
We've tried so many things to get some order. Yeah, well, it's all failed. So you're like the last resort, all right? If you can go down there as our pimp and bring some order to this house of ill repute, I think America would applaud you.
Will America applaud a pimp? I'm gonna show them
if you
how
do that.
yes.
If you do this, if you
would America
slap them around
applaud
a bit
a pimp?
and get them, knock some sense into their head. And at the very least, if they're going to be whores for the people.
Okay, well, I will pimp for America. How about that?
I will pimp for America.
Diallo, this better be a skit. This can't be real.
Shit is real in the field. So if you got a problem with Tariq, call Michael Moore. He'll get them together.
You gotta be kidding me. How did I miss this all these years?
When I get my Mac on, I like to learn some of the local customs. So I went to visit one of my homies. He's an expert. That's Nick Nyhart over at Public Campaign. He knew all the players on my new block.
Slick Nick, I want to get some of this Washington, D.C. lingo in my Rolodex.
Oh my
What's the
God.
campaign contribution?
A campaign contribution is a sum of money given to a person who's running for office, help them further.
He said the people that critique him will have white people in their pocket.
So
he got white people in his pocket.
But here's the thing. He said this was a skit, right?
This is just a skit, though, Diallo.
But
He's just
yeah.
playing. He's a
How do you explain the fact that he wrote books and gave seminars in the real world on how to run games
with a politician?
He just playing,
and seduce women?
Lobbyists. And the tricks are favors, illicit favors that they really shouldn't be doing to get some of this contribution money, right?
About $3 billion this year.
Well, you looking at a $3 billion pimp. You feel me, Nicky? Slick Nick? Bam. Yeah, take me to the Capitol, homie. Let's go over and get some of this Congress money. I had more than 500 new hoes to bring into my stable, so I headed straight for the mother lode, the U.S. Capitol building. What's up, baby? I'm the new Mac in town. Look at all you hoes. Y'all keep on taking that oil money. Break me off a little cheddar. You little stable of bitches. Wait, who your homeboy right here, man? Hold on, I'm spitting game at this bitch. What's up, baby? You don't want to work for a real pimp? Oh, baby. Looking good, though.
I'm sorry, I came to the wrong place.
Oh, I just want to spit a little game at you, baby.
I can't. I gotta go.
Oh, man, y'all need to get on this, man. I can hook you up. What's up, baby? Come over here and holler at a real pimp.
You gotta go up, Pat.
No hoe would disrespect me like that unless they already had a pimp. And in this town, that's the Democratic and the Republican parties.
Oh my God,
these pimps
man.
bring in millions. They
too
weren't
much.
just going to let me in on the action. So I went down there to tell them that their services were no longer needed now that a real pimp was in town. So my thing is, I just want to show y'all how a real pimp does it, and I just want to let you know that they working for me now. You deal with them. The hell they don't.
For the people of Pennsylvania,
They
the people
work
of Texas.
They work for the pimp of Los Angeles because I done went and put the shoe on their ass. This is the new game now. I came in to DC to get my pimp on. I'm just like you. But the thing is, them hoes go through me now. They're my stable. You feel me, J-Dog? And I'm coming to you pimp to pimp because, you know, the rules of the game is that if you knock another pimp's hoe, you got to go check the pimp and let him know what's up.
Well, it sounds to me like you're quite upset and you're very disenchanted, like most Americans are, at the Republican majority in their effort to kill campaign finance
baby,
reform.
J-Dog, I'm not upset with you, man. I mean, you know, I don't hate the player. I don't hate the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't play or hate. I congratulate, baby. You know what I'm saying?
I think we're probably done for the...
Come on, man. One last thing, man. Really, who are you giving your money to, man? Because I might know. I'm telling you, I've been checking bitches all week, man.
Well, I really resent your use of that word, so I would ask
What word,
you not
bitch?
to do that. Yeah,
That's what they are. I mean, well, you resent the truth? They bitches, they hoes, and you a pimp. I mean, really. I mean, what other euphemism can we use? I like you, man. I'm telling you, we're on the same page with this pimp game, baby. It's all to the good.
Wow.
I think you got the picture that I was now the main Mac in charge.
Man.
Here's the thing. They were like, well, he was just play acting. But he was recruited by Michael Moore because he was actively pimping.
Yeah.
You know, he wrote a book and would give instructions on, well, now they call it the art of seduction. They stopped calling it like pickup artist because pickup artists got a sullied name. So now, you know, they call themselves like seduction artists or seduction instructors. But I mean, it's kind of funny that he can, when it comes to white people, it's like, yo, this is satire, but this is actually his approach and his mentality to our community and to the movement. You know, the dude just put out a fully serious video where he's talking about if you diss me, you dissing, then you ain't legit. I mean, he's got those confrontational pimp tactics embedded in the struggle. So you can't really pass this off if you doing the shit. You know, he's not just a studio gangster. He's out here putting in work in the street. So he's not a studio pimp. He's not a TV pimp. He's out here literally applying those same pickup artist tactics to his so-called foundational Black American organization, bringing in, like you said, millions of dollars.
Well, I mean, there's a free PDF for all of these books. The Mac Within, the Art of Macking, the Elite Ways, 10 Rules.
Is that book satire?
I mean, it's real. It's a real book.
Is that book satire? No, if you look in the book, there in no way is this book is for entertainment purposes. This book is satire. He was dead ass about. Michael Moore recruited him because Michael, he likes to use authentic people in his, that was a documentary. That was not a fictional movie.
He has the Elite Way, 10 rules men must know in order to deal with women, play or be played, what every female should know about men, dating and relationships. So, hey,
right.
The man is Steve Harvey. He's Steve Harvey.
But you know, his trick ass followers, because all your Tyreek supporters are some tricks. You know, his trick ass followers gonna sit there. Oh, no, he was just that's satire. Oh, he's just kidding. Oh, he was a fake pimp, but he's a real revolutionary. So you know, look at these tricks that support. You know, if you ever encounter foundational Black Americans and you start to highlight this component. You know, they start sounding like some serious tricks and hoes.
But
making excuses. My daddy loved me. He loved me. He take care of me. So yeah,
but Diallo,
I love y'all Tariq defenders.
Those books, those books are at least 10 years old. Even Malcolm X was a pimp. So why can't he have changed? Why can't Tariq have changed?
I didn't say he couldn't have changed. Where's the evidence that he's changed?
Well, he's starting a museum.
Right. That he raised $1 million. And you just said, you and I about to fly to LA in a couple of months with our floor chimes and our pleated silky slacks and purple silk shirts. And we're going to be up in there grinding up on the ancestral shrines.
Oh my God.
You know, spilling our drinks on the mud cloth. You know what I'm saying? Checking our hair and checking our mustaches in the reflection of the paintings of our ancestors. So
he's grinding up on the ancestors.
So what is he doing? He's turned. What did he turn? And remember, some guy went to the museum and they beat the shit out of the guy and threw him in the streets.
Are you serious?
It's on, and they taped it and bragged about it. Some guy went there. He's been in an ongoing debate or issue with Tariq. He showed up. I ain't never heard of no museum. You know, there was just somebody who literally like threw pudding at the Mona Lisa and he didn't get his ass whooped. This dude went into the Louvre and literally threw what did he throw? I think it was porridge or something at the Mona Lisa, and they escorted him out. I go to museums all the time. I went to the World War I museum in Kansas City, and you touch it, they'd be like, son, please follow us. You go to Tyreek's museum, is the only museum that got goons at the door.
So let me lead y'all into a plebiscite babbling and debate. So heavily he's talking about this cash reparations. Give me my cash, give me my 300,000. And he, shits on Bitcoin. He's like, don't listen to these Bitcoin clowns. But when you think about his attachment, because actually he's almost explaining what he's saying other people are going to do. Once we get close to the reparations, people are going to jump on. Tariq didn't start out talking about reparations from what I know. Now he's on the reparations kick. So what's your thoughts and critique about this idea, one, again, reparations, and then the cash payment that he's supposing we're going to get? And then how can you be sure y'all not plebiscite babbling by even giving y'all critiques of this idea of cash payments and reparations?
Diallo and I, after we go to the club, we have to go to the HR office and get our check for undermining these movements. But again, I mean, we've been in for a long time now, at least here, been pointing out that all the shortcomings, I think, of what these movements or efforts towards reparations are. And I think too much of it is based in conservatism. It's based in trying to get make an appeal to the state to get a check. Anyway, there's so many. I don't really even feel like going through. There's so many issues that I have with it. But but the ultimate thing is, I don't see any of these efforts as going in that, like, leading people. What would be needed is an organized political effort, whatever we want, whether it's reparations in whatever form or whatever I want, would need some sort of organized political effort. And all I see them doing is fundraising, charging people for conferences and events. I don't see any explicit call for an organized effort to approach any of these ideas. Then what I do see is them condemning actual grassroots organization. in the process, and condemning the histories and the legacies and the people and the traditions of that activism. So I don't even see tactically how what even for what if what they claim they want to do is legit, I don't see how they're going to get there. But
yeah, I call this foundational ADOS is prosperity politics, and it's aligned. It's like a secular form of the prosperity ministry. Like our only problem is we ain't got enough money, and the purpose of money is so that we can better enjoy the spoils of empire. If you look at the foundational Black Americans, they take and the ADOS, and the foundational is nothing but an offshoot, because Tariq tried to go ADOS and elevate with that in there. He just basically stole their whole platform, because before that he was African, remember? And all them African, all them hidden colors.
Yep.
So he was very Afrocentric, but now he's a Black American nationalist or Black American exclusivist, you know. And so it is basically reparations stripped of anti-imperialism, anti-colonialism, Pan-African solidarity. So it is they've stripped reparations down strictly to an economic boom or an economic come up, and and there's also an element in there with this mythologizing and worship of entrepreneurialism, where they really is like, oh, entrepreneur, business, ignoring the long-standing history we have to show that entrepreneurialism as it exists is not really a liberatory thing. Like, you can do a business or you can work a job. And we've seen that most of the movements for human progress have come from labor movements, have come from laborers uniting and working class people uniting. I can't even find one progressive movement. I know a lot of regressive moves, but I can't find one progressive movement that was founded, directed, controlled, or even properly supported by the entrepreneurial class. So it turns class consciousness on its head, as opposed to, you know, us having a solid critique and a justified mistrust or hostility towards the entrepreneurial class, the ownership class, the upper classes, to worshiping them and following their God. You know, it is really, and so it's really, for all your critiques of Tariq, for all your critiques of him, one thing you can say is he's been consistently on that pimp game in terms of being a grifter and an opportunist. He'll be African when Africa was on and popping. He was street and hood when that was hot. And now he's ADOS reparations. And whatever the next grift is, he'll be on that too.
Well, y'all talked about sheepdogging and stuff. And me and Asafo used to talk about this idea of like, whoever bring you to the dance, you don't have to stay dancing with them, right? So if you got brought into consciousness from Hidden Colors, that don't mean you have to actually stay loyal to Tariq Nasheed and whatever the fuck he got going on. But how much of this cult following, sycophant shit that's going on with Tariq comes from what he was able to do with the Hidden Colors documentary? Like, do you think people are still kind of, I guess, loyal to him and staying supportive? I'm pretty sure he lost some fans.
I feel like I think he's probably got a new audience. I don't think the Hidden Colors audience is big enough to sustain this new effort. I feel like he's expanded by ignoring all of that and returning to the simple entrepreneurial grift and let's appeal to the United States for reparations. I think that's.
But and I don't like calling this reparations, because it really subverts the idea of reparations. It's economic integration, because reparations is about restoring a people. If you look it up,
sabotaging reparations. Wow.
Reparations is about restoring people to the state prior to whatever offense or atrocity was committed to them. That's what reparations is. That is the intent of reparations. But again, if you look, when you have the people, because if you look at In Cobra, or the leftist organizations that have been arguing for reparations, they're not just asking for money. They ask for a cessation of the ongoing imperialist atrocities. They're asking for fundamental. They're not just saying white folks give us money. They're arguing about how the United States has generated its wealth and how the United States sustains its wealth. So they don't want to just partake in the spoils of empire. They want to end the empire and end imperialism. But if you look at the ADOS and FBA who drape themselves in the flags, they're literally saying they want reparations so that Black people can fully engage and partake in capitalism and U.S. imperialism, that we can be full-on U.S. citizens, which means we need to be given the capital to help fully integrate with the state and enjoy all the spoils of the state. It's really an extremely regressive and dangerous movement.
Go ahead.
All right.
Finish.
Well, yeah, and to think that Black people be so compensation is one thing. Here's a monetary thing, but reparations involves a myriad and a layered. It's not just about paying us for passive offenses. It is about transforming the state and social relations to end the ongoing offense. It's not like Black oppression is a thing that's rooted in the past. This is a continuum, and the same systems and institutions and ideologies still govern this state today. The United States still has Black people who are legitimately and legally enslaved in the penal system. The United States still is engaging in ongoing atrocities. That we are asking for the atrocities is not just something that our ancestors endure. It's something we endure to this day. And the ADOS and the FBA have no element of critiquing the state for its ongoing atrocities. Their only critique of the state is they don't allow Black people to fully participate and get our cut of the spoils of empire.
You know what? I actually thought the FBA was an upgrade of FBLA back in high school, the Future Business Leaders of America. So I thought they dropped the L, and that's what I thought it was for a while. Shit, it sounds like it. So I don't.
Hey, Tafari, I think you have a point. Tell Keto to holler at me. Yeah, next time you talk to him, tell him to holler at me. Yeah. I honestly, I don't have the energy. I don't even feel like having that argument this morning. I see a couple people in the chat want to have a debate about reparations and all that. And the only, but my temptation is the only thing, Diallo, in what you said is that I'm not aware of any actual leftist organizations that have ever made reparations a key component of their.
Yeah. The National Black United Front was partnered with Cobra. In fact, the leadership, they shared the exact same leadership, and the heads of the NBUF went with the heads of Cobra to bring war crimes charges at the International Court I believe in The Hague. So yeah, the National Black United Front and its affiliated organizations have always, as they organize at the grassroots, as they're opening up African-centered schools and all that, as their new tools. Even during the Obama campaign, they were recruiting Obama campaigners in order to get the Obama people within Obama's network to adopt the reparations and economic justice. So National Black United Front has always, which is a political grassroots organization, has always worked in concert and always kept reparations. That's where I was schooled and instructed and mentored to understand what reparations truly are. The late Dr. Conrad Warrill worked hand in hand with Inco.
So Jared, there's this idea that sometimes people will call your book, The Myth of Black Buying Power, like an alarmist book because you don't have any solutions, and so you always hear this thing. And again, these people who say it, I'm not sure that they actually have solutions as much as they're defending the person who they believe have a solution. So how do you even begin to put this shit to bed of like, one, criticizing something or critiquing something, examining something is a part of the solution, right? Or would you say that, or is on the path to?
I mean, I don't know, because I don't know what it means to have professional critiques without a Pan-African program on the table, and I don't know what 4411825 is, but my point is that I think that again, as I've said before, please don't tune in for 5 minutes or one program and think that you've seen everything, or that you birthed us by your presence into existence. That for instance, Diallo just laid out some of his background. I'm in the All African People's Revolutionary Party. We were linked up with Black Alliance for Peace, Community Movement Builders, FTP movement. There's all these associated things happening around here with all kinds of programs and approaches. That's what I love about what we're trying to do with BPM. There is no one solution. Nobody's coming here saying we got the one. Where there's a collaborative and not always on the same page effort here. So yeah, I think part of what I'm arguing in the Buying Power book is that argument is that we can't get to solutions when people keep trying to build solutions on faulty grounds. So I don't know what the absence of a Pan-African, by the way, depending on whose approach it is, not all these reparations approaches are Pan-Africanist. So I'm not sure if that comment was in relationship to that. And the reverse hashtag and FBA folks have a decidedly anti-Pan-African approach to get the check. So I don't, and they're not anti-capitalist. So there's all kinds of issues that I think are at play here. The last one is, again, because all of this is happening on YouTube and with some anonymity in the chats and whatever, it's hard to assess what anybody's really coming from and what they're really arguing for. So that's why I at least keep saying, or many of us keep saying, ultimately what we're encouraging here is that people get off camera, off mic, and get into other spaces and build organization, and then we'll figure it all out. But anyway,
Well, the ADOS, which is foundational Black Americans, are bastard offsprings of the ADOS movement, and their ultimate goal is for Black people to be made white. The founders have said, we want to be made white. Thus, they want our political and economic status to be equivalent to white people. And what's really tragic about that is they have not demonstrated that they've studied how the white majority came to be middle class, because they don't advocate for any type of social programs. They advocate for entrepreneurialism and investment capital. And white people did not become, have a largely middle class society based on entrepreneurialism and investment capital. And when white people fell for that lie, when the white majority fell for that lie with a little bit before that, but you could really say it gathered steam under Reaganomics, when white people really thought that their destiny and their wealth and their prosperity was rooted in their work ethic and their personal morality and their entrepreneurial spirit, and started literally voting against their own economic interests, starting with the Reagan era, they are now losing, and the white middle class is rapidly shrinking, even though they have the very investment capital and entrepreneurial spirit that the ADOS and foundational Black Americans are trying to push. When every, stable and wealthy white family is a byproduct of welfare, or what would be called welfare and social programs, set-asides. So it is it saddens me that there's so much energy put into this perversion of reparations. Reparations is about redistribution of resources, but that's also about the cessation of atrocities and dismantling the infrastructure and the industries that commit these atrocities.
Well, my thoughts of his apolitical statement or apolitical encouraging statement is right off everything that critiques him as plebiscite babbling. So I don't know if y'all done with our plebiscite babbling, and we can move on. or there's more we need to cover on here?
Say one more thing though. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Can we stop dragging out Malcolm X's name every time a scumbag pretends to make good? Every time a scumbag pretends to make good, we want to reference Malcolm X and his history.
Well, Malcolm did it.
Malcolm was engaged in intensive study, personal critique, and transformation. You know, Malcolm didn't just say, oh, you know, this pimp game ain't working no more. Let me get on this Muslim shit. Oh, this Muslim shit ain't working no more. Let me go ahead and get on this Pan-African and AAU shit. Malcolm was not being opportunistic. Malcolm was a sincere and ongoing self-examination. Malcolm X was as critical of himself as he was the systems and institutions that he was fighting against. So every time a scumbag dons a kente cloth or puts on a cowrie shell, we want to reference Malcolm X, and I think it is disrespectful to our ancestors. You know, they even get people who are scumbags who never even transform themselves and say, well, give them a chance, cover Malcolm. Every time I level a critique against somebody, they want to pull out Malcolm. And I think it is highly disrespectful of this man, the example that he put forth for us and the sacrifice that he was made to every time some scumbag jumps up. And I'm not saying people can't transform. But like I said, Malcolm was great, but Malcolm was in an era where there were thousands of other pimps, and most of them pimps lived and died pimps. We only got one Malcolm. It's a relatively rare phenomenon, which I wish wasn't. But please stop disrespecting our ancestors every time a scumbag want to go Afrocentric in order to expand his hustle.
So the verse tribe looks like he has, or he, I don't know, I'm sorry, but has an answer, but they can't type it in. So I don't know if they need the link to come explain something.
I mean, if you all want, I'll put the link to the studio in the chat. They can jump on here and lay it out if they want. You know, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that, but you know, or they can put a link to something that lays out the argument more clearly that they want to lay out. But you know, my humble experience with all of these hashtag groups is that they're disingenuous. To Diallo's last point, my attempts to engage and discuss have never led to any sort of fruitful, you know, experience, you know, largely because they're not serious. They're looking to, you know, that's more or less how I feel. And I think part of it is the inability to articulate is that there is nothing to articulate other than clarifying that they're not with us. And I think that's part of the political platform necessary to make the appeal to the state to get the reparations they think they're going to get, or to get the entree into conservative white circles that they're going to get.
And that's where the money at.
And that's where the money's at. And that's what I think
the money reside.
That's what I really think it is. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I think.
Conservatism.
So I mean, yeah.
Well, the verse said he was here from the beginning, so he's been a BPM long time participant.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I see them. I see them.
But if we can put the link if you need to lay something out. But other than that, we can.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, send links. You know, lay it out. Whatever we can arrange. If my colleagues here are interested, at some point we can arrange for a more prepared discussion of this with folks if they want. I'm not thrilled about that, but I'm, you know, flexible. So that said, if we are ready to move on, there is, you know, a similar venture happening that you put us on to, Geechee, that just looks remarkable. There is a world tour taking place, so I think we need to crowdfund to send one of you to Dallas for the FBA event, and then I think somebody got to go somewhere.
That's London. That's a little bit expensive there, a little bit tight, right?
Well, I'm
Chicago,
thinking-
Chicago.
No, because I'm thinking because it looks like the Toronto one. Oh, we missed Toronto. That already happened April 2nd because that one
The
includes
coach's top thought leader.
But
maybe me and you, Jared, need to go to Chicago with Diallo and do the Chicago one.
Yeah, y'all come to Chicago.
October 2023.
I'll protect y'all.
Hold on, can we do this? Join the wait list. How does that work exactly?
That's my birthday month, so y'all can buy me a drink when I get there.
All right, we gotta here. I'm gonna put my email in and at least get on the list, right? I'll save that for off screen. I don't need everybody, but anyway, yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
But it's in October.
Yeah, it's October in Chicago. I want to get on the wait list just to make sure.
I don't know about Geechee. He's a Southern boy. I don't know if he can handle Chicago in October, huh?
Oh, that's when it get cold. Oh no, never mind.
Yeah, you're a tropical dude.
You might. But what I thought was interesting.
I'm allergic.
Right, you can't handle it.
It said the tour is being sponsored by Ally, and this is the company.
Oh shit! White boys in the back.
You know. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce this, right? Ally.
Ally, yeah. Well,
Ally is uniquely it's positioned in digital financial services and committed to driving shareholder value over time. So.
But listen,
so
y'all, you skip over the fact that they had that Death Row picture up, look like Death Row.
Oh, hold on. I'll come back to that. Hold on a second.
I'm surprised Diallo ain't caught that.
I was thinking it. You out ahead of me.
Hey,
I'm being a negative influence.
Listen.
I got to get myself together. I'm being a bad role model for Geechee.
Hey, I think they're coming for us. Listen, if y'all don't want to be on YouTube and having people talk all in front of your camera, come on down to earn your leisure. Look at that shit. Death Row, nigga.
Death Row.
Death Row. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Death Row.
That's actually they're copying a Vibe magazine color. The Death Row Vibe magazine, the iconic they call it. But yeah, that's Death Row. Because you get in here following these dudes, they're gonna have you squander what little resources you've been able to accumulate.
But they're a revolutionary network which give rise to emerging and established content creators from the world of business. So it's revolutionary.
I think Bilal is the Tupac of the group, though. The one with the glasses.
Wow.
Oh, he don't got glasses on. Never mind. This the one to the far left.
Bilal.
Yeah, I think that's the Tupac of the group.
Oh,
man. But speaking of revolutionary, I tagged both of y'all on this masculinity conversation that one of the brothers. I didn't know he was a rapper, but he has this podcast called Affirmations Podcast with him and his wife. But he talked about him kissing his father for the first time, how that was liberating, and so we throw the words around liberation and revolution and to everything. And he said he's going to respond to it. It's a good question, but I was trying to pull him on the show.
Y'all come to Chicago. I make sure y'all eat. I make sure y'all have some comfort. But I just can't get with that goddamn that Protestant bullshit of earning your liberation. I can't get with it. I'm not going to work. Will not set you free. Let me tell you something. Work will not set you free. When they put that shit at the top of the concentration camp, and no matter how you phrase it, pushing something as rest and comfort and safety as something that is not inherent, that is not a fundamental right, that should be available to all, as opposed to something you have to earn. Because if you earn your leisure, what's really ironic about that is the leisure class, as they used to call them, other people earned their leisure. They didn't earn their leisure. They extracted the work of other people, the wealth of other people in order to have that leisure. So that's really a twisted concept, that Black people, in order to have any level of comfort or stability, is a byproduct of us slaving away. When we've been working, we've been the who's put in more work than us across the globe and had the least amount of leisure.
You better be careful. Last time Jared said that he almost got punched on the stage by Keezy. He said we earning their leisure, and Keezy was about to throw them hands. I was like, oh, you better watch
I'm
out.
safe in this little hotel room.
You better be careful.
Yeah, I put the little safety lock every time I'm in a hotel room.
Hey.
Even my daughters who were there that day were aware of the hostility and the tension. They were like, wow, they were really not, they were, a little bit shocked. And I was like, this is what your father be dealing with out here in these streets. You think I'm out here having a good time? I'm out here putting it on the line for my family, like taking risks. But she did get a little bit. She got a little bit heated. She got a little bit heated. Oh man! But so I'm just looking around here real quick, and because I'm fascinated by this relationship. So according to Black Enterprise, Earn Your Leisure, Ally, and United Masters educate creators of color on finance at South by Southwest. So
is that Jadakiss in the middle?
That does look like Jada right there. And this was just from March. So Ally, Earn Your Leisure, and United Masters teamed up to provide attendees a dose of financial empowerment. Together, they presented Earn Your Masters. Oh, wow. A 2-day.
Wait. Is it? Yeah. Hold on. I'm seeing people like, go back up. Let me see a bigger picture. Ryan Leslie, is that him? The rapper?
Yeah, Ryan Leslie. One of them is Ryan Leslie.
Well,
yeah,
I don't know. Now he was a little bit brown skinned. He was Jada's complexion at one point. So I don't know what's going on here.
Who's this one?
That's Ryan Leslie, the rapper.
Oh, the light skinned dude.
Yeah, he used to look like Jada complexion. I don't know what's going on here.
He was Jada's complexion.
The guy in the middle complexion. I don't know.
I was a little darker once too. So you never know what happens. I don't know. What can I say?
I'll be taking those Charlemagne pills now.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So they teamed up to so Ally, Earn Your Leisure, and United Masters teamed up to do Earn Your Masters. Musical showcases, artist La Russell, Liana Banks. I don't know any of these folks.
You know what?
Erica Hughes, the senior director of marketing, multicultural marketing at Ally, hosted a workshop. Okay, go ahead.
The one reason why I think one of us should go, or I would go, is because we got to remember that they do camera tricks, and I don't think a lot of people are at these events as they project. Because if you see that picture, they got a picture of like the front row, and you can see the heads of the first people, like right there. But I'm not sure that there's a whole bunch of people there, and I'm wondering if they're getting more, propaganda clout.
So we built a residency. I end up building a venue in my backyard because another venue told me no, and it was the best thing they could do for me. If anything ever happens, I know I can wake up and go in my backyard and get my family back right. And we own it.
Hey, see, I'm from Texas. We got Beyonce, Tell the Truth, and we can't forget Devin. Big shout out.
I was just trying to see if there's any footage of the crowd itself. Do they turn the camera around? And
but if they getting paid up front by corporate sponsorship, who cares? Like,
just to Geechee's point, I was just curious to see. And at no point do they turn the camera around. So I don't know how big the crowd was, but I would like to see. I mean, I'm down to. I don't really want to go, but I would love to see what Geechee brought back as a report. Where did I just see? Natalie Brown, the senior director of corporate citizenship at Ally, facilitated a workshop. So the diversity people, the corporate citizenship people, about understanding good credit.
Listen, I don't mind using my my college degree and my my internship of journalism and going for radio station. So if I'll take one of those for the team. But if I get jumped, though, I'm telling you.
You got to work on your disguises.
Why
Listen,
would
I'm on the show with y'all fools. Like, I don't even know how I'm gonna work on it. Hey, that's a guy with Diallo and Jared. Like, I'm gonna take the biggest one down. I'm gonna know that, but the rest of them might get. I'm swinging on the biggest.
I can't imagine that. Why?
Diallo just said somebody got jumped at the museum. Y'all trying to walk me into?
Yeah. Well, I see that it was a Moor. It was a Moorish American. And he was going there to debunk Tariq's assertions about Black history and our ancestry. So, I don't know the details. I started to look into it, and then I got bored. I got high because I got high. I was going to watch that bullshit video, but then I got high. I just found something better to do in my time. I'm just saying, they put hands on you. It just was funny to me as a person who's always enjoyed museums, historical and art museums all my life. I ain't never heard about nobody getting hands put on them at a museum. Even people
Well, I'll make sure before I go there, I balance my throat chakra. Once I balance my throat chakra, then
you need some disguises. Geechee the Infiltrator. No more Geechee Motivator. It's Geechee Infiltrator. You got a new task. Go and hate on these things.
All
right. So you want to should we turn to a more somber note with this BLM thing? Because a couple people actually sent me the tweet of that I shared with you all.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a trigger warning about some violence. If people want to tune out or look away or whatever from the references, but
let's get into it.
So
the video got some wild. I said the video starts out seeming like has a bunch of wild claims because I'm not sure.
Number one, Hassan Masri.
Hold on. Yeah, sorry. Say that again.
Like the 7 founders. That was kind of like a wild claim because some of those people was like started way after BLM was kind of on the scene. So I don't know how they concluded that these are 7 original founders. But go ahead.
Okay.
Contrary to popular belief, this is not the founder of BLM. The original 7 founders have all died under mysterious circumstances. Number 1, Bassem Masri, 31, found unresponsive on a bus, death labeled as heart attack. Similar to MKO Abiola, Adams Unaji, and Magufuli, number 2. DeAndre Joshua, 20 years old, found dead in torched car. Similar to Walter Rodney, number 3. Darren Seals, 29 years old, and also found shot in torched car. Starting to notice something odd. Wait till you hear about the final 3. The final 3 founders of BLM, Marshawn McCarroll, 23, Dane Jones, 24, and Edward Crawford, 27. All, according to the feds, allegedly took their own lives. However, the evidence says otherwise. Dane Jones, for instance, was found hanging from a tree like a modern-day lynch victim. Despite what the media says, his family believes he was lynched. They say his mental health was fine and he couldn't have even tied the knots on the tree. The sheet he used to unalive himself wasn't even his own. This isn't the first time Black activists and leaders have allegedly been removed by feds. The leaked document COINTELPRO proves the FBI's involvement in the killings of Black activists like Fred Hampton, MLK, and Malcolm X. Director of the FBI, Edgar Hoover, said in COINTELPRO, the Black youth and moderate must be made to understand that if they succumb to revolutionary teaching, they will be dead revolutionaries. COINTELPRO had no end date BTW. Whenever a leader stands up for Black people and mysteriously dies, read over the COINTELPRO document. Number 7, Sasha Johnson. Mrs. Johnson is indirectly responsible for the start of the blackout strike movement. At one of her protests to take down Cecil Rhodes, a notorious slave owner and exploitator of Africa. Kanan proposed rather we focus on taking down his symbols of colonialism like a statue. Why don't we take down his corporation De Beers, which still uses child slaves to exploit Africa? But that story is for another day. Months later, Sasha was attacked by masked gunmen who escaped punishment. What strikes me most about her death and many of the leaders slain by COINTELPRO is the fact the FBI and corporations use black men to do their dirty work for them to further cause divide within the black community. Sankara was killed by France, not his adoptive brother compare. Lumumba killed my CIA, not Mobutu. Don't fight the dog when the master is behind the fence laughing. Whenever there is a mysterious death of a political figure, don't look at who the finger gets pointed at. Look at who benefits the most. After all our leaders died, they are
Anyway, so you were saying you think that it's in a go ahead.
So I don't want to sound like I don't know, like obviously the sister and everybody else, like they got, they died, one suicide or reported suicide, but when they say our leaders and then we go into their politics before this thing's happened, it's almost like you create this idea like, oh, our leaders getting killed, and they get killed for what they talk about. But then when you go what they talk about, they're not really talking about anything radical, right? So the sister talk about, oh, we want the police here because without the police, there'll be total chaos. So we need the police. So I'm not sure
you
that.
Talking about Sasha Johnson said that?
Yeah, Sasha Johnson said that.
And she was in the UK, by the way. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She was in the UK, and this was a long time ago. But she's seen with a bunch of like right wingers. She She debated Tommy Robinson, and you could see this kind of weird thing, and they agreed on a whole bunch of stuff. Tommy Robinson is a super right wing person in the UK. But again, it's like this idea of leaders, and I was trying to check in with Manny about the guy in Columbus because supposedly he killed himself at a state building and nobody was around and no cameras or nothing. But the organization he was working with was a bunch of like, I don't know. I don't want to say just because they're white, but there was like a white man who teaches with a bunch of white students, like a privileged group, and he was kind of with them. So I just feel uncomfortable with this idea about these all our leaders and they get rid of our leaders. And Sasha in particular was at a house party and there was some beef between some young boys and they were shooting and she got hit by a stray bullet. And they actually the young boys got captured and then they kind of released it. But so it's like a lot of misinformation around it. And I guess the emotional pull is like, yo, these people died, or got harmed. And then all of a sudden they leaders because they was with Black Lives Matter. So it's like a lot of confusion around this thing to me. And I feel like it's like directing us to where, well, these people got killed because of their ideas. And I'm like, wait, their ideas are not radical. Not all of them, but at least some of them that I researched, their ideas are not radical.
Yeah, one of the I know one of the claims, I forgot which one of the brothers that was killed after Ferguson, the claim was that he was killed because he was going to say in court that Michael Brown had rushed at Darren Wilson and giving the cop justification. So the argument was, at least in one of the articles that I looked up, was he really killed because of COINTELPRO, or was he really killed by the black community trying to prevent him from making the cop look good? Honestly, I honestly don't know. I don't know enough about any of these cases and was just looking them up in reference to what I saw here. But all I did was look at one article for each person. So I don't know. That's not research and I don't claim to, but it's, I mean, it's an uncomfortable coincidence that there are so many.
But also I don't want to like brush over the fact that the state can be highly and hella sophisticated at harming people at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also believe, like, so for instance, could the state be less likely to investigate because of the person? Could the state be orchestrating it? Could the state, like there's multiple things that can be happening, but is there like evidence or there's things that make you want to question things? So for instance, like even with the Safo case, like them showing up on the scene and they're seeing Eugene Perrier's book, would that make them less likely Safo in this small ass community, they know him. So would that be less likely to help him? Less likely? Or is it something that they can orchestrate the white boy to do? And hold off the court case for almost a year? Like, so I would feel more comfortable if we have like more evidence around why it's a conspiracy or why it's this thing, because there's real fucking conspiracies out there to just be making with something up. And I know I understand it's a coincidence, but like, I don't know. It's just hard to just kind of like broad stroke to be like, oh, the cop that, for instance, the guy in Columbus, the cop said on Twitter, I think one less annoyance or something like that when the guy from Columbus supposedly killed himself, and that right there shouldn't be indication that the cops did it. You know, so I don't know. I just think it's like it's hella convoluted, but the end of the day, I go back to their politics. Were their politics radical, and was it because of how radical they were? Like just BLM in general.
And then it is also a question of what is, you know, what might not be radical to me might be enough of an irritant and radical to those in power that they would, you know, like it doesn't have to be what I would consider. It's hard to say. I mean, it's hard to say. And whenever, you know, and the difficulty I have is that every time I have spent time looking at COINTELPRO or this or that assassination, I mean, there's all kinds of crazy things that have been said to occur, that have been proven to occur. It's hard to put anything past, and then you're talking about a country with endless resources. So who knows? They must have been a direct threat to the state. It could be a lot of different things. Maybe they were seen as a threat directly to the state. Maybe they were a threat to just a group of local. I mean, just like what was exposed in Baltimore with the gun trace task force. Yes, the whole thing could be corrupt, and then there could be a more internally viciously corrupt group working without direct authorization to do whatever, you know. I mean, it, you know, like sub-corruption within the broader corruption. I mean, you have no idea. Maybe they could have run afoul of a couple
local cats,
local cats who got a little gang of cops going, and then this is what they do: they shoot them up and burn them up in cars. It's like their MO. So I honestly don't know.
Right.
I have to say this. You know, George Jackson said, if you're going to organize against this state and not be prepared for its retaliation, you either have a death wish or you're insane. I really don't like these type of videos. I think they're made for viral content more so than research, and to inform or educate people about the actual and potential threats to people who speak out or take actions against established power. And I do appreciate you said, you know, radical is different depending on where you are in the country. You know, like things you can say here in Chicago or here in New York City, and you go say those same things. I remember when I was organizing in Missouri, and I spent a summer at a youth camp on the Missouri-Tennessee border in basically the same state. And the reaction, the reaction from those in authority, and the reaction from the clergy, and the pushback that you get for saying the same shit in different parts of the country can be extremely widely varying. I remember Dale Jones used to go around and give lectures, and when he went to Louisiana, and places he go and he's just walking the streets freely, and other places he go and give a lecture on the same issues, and he had armed guards. So, you know, the threat is real. I think that we do need to speak, but and again, I think it is counterproductive to cry COINTELPRO for every instance, because again, it's the same thing with Malcolm X. We dilute and diminish the seriousness of it when we do that. I mean, it's be people online and they have technical difficulties and they want to scream FBI and Illuminati when they're internet connection slows down. Right. And I thought they made some extreme leaps when they started dragging in Sankara and Chairman Fred Hampton. Walter and Rodney. To me, they were just really making broad leaps and broad casting abroad. And I think it's not just disrespectful to those ancestors, it's disrespectful to the people who lost their lives. Because if I'm really going to talk about someone who lost their lives, who was working or speaking on behalf of the people, I'm not just going to throw it together for viral content. There's sometimes some things, deserve serious examination and not this, the word for it is hyped up internet, flashy content.
So, but listen, I get the point about there's different levels of radicalism, and me visiting and living in different countries in the last 2 years, it seems sometimes like other countries are way behind with like shit, like the UK and Jamaica, whatever. But again, in terms of confusion, so when they say the 7 founders, right? So we know that's not true. Like they kind of joined different times as whatever. But even though we talk about different levels of consciousness, I'm not wishing this on any of these brothers, but if something happens to the financial literacy expert people, and then it said like, oh, they had to get them out of here because they was talking that radical real shit. Doesn't that make the message even more glamorous? Kind of like, oh, I mean, we really got to get on financial literacy because they're taking us out. So does it become kind of confusing or makes the work a little bit harder? Because now, again, because once people die, the death is magnifying on all of the shit that they was talking about at work. So like, does it become a problem then if something like that happens?
Did anybody claim that Kevin Samuels was a COINTELPRO op? Like did anybody ever was that part of the narrative of his support group? Like they got him.
I mean,
we gotta go pimp more women.
I'm gonna be honest.
Biggie Smalls and Tupac. Biggie Smalls, Tupac.
Now
Nipsey Hussle. Dr. Sabi.
I can't confirm. I can't deny or confirm what Kevin Samuels sycophants did because I actually started blocking Kevin Samuels sycophants way before he transitioned. So I'm not sure if they didn't say, "Oh damn."
So yes, they did. Oh my God!
I wouldn't be surprised. It sounded like it because they really thought.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ob. I'm with you. Hold up on Tupac now. Diallo.
Here's the thing,
Hold
though.
up, man. Hold up, man.
If everybody's assassinated, nobody's assassinated. My issue is not saying
some people are.
That's my issue. So that's when I say if we just run out and say that everybody who has some type of name or prominence, because I know a lot of people who are not well known, who do not have a following, but put in work for the people, and they had to leave the country. They are incarcerated, or they do have legitimate threats that we never call out, but someone gets a name and a persona, some fanfare around them, and then we start to call that out. So I do believe that the state is one thing that was accurate is that counterintelligence. It not only counterintelligence is a title, but the methods and techniques and mission of counterintelligence goes back to Garvey. It goes back to the IWW and the American anarchist. So this is all states, especially unjust, corrupt states, engage in these practices. And I think, what that girl said, it's not something we should play with. It's not something we should throw out loosely. It's not something we should play with. I do take, my security and the security of the family and people that organize with me, I take their safety and their well-being very seriously. And I think when this word is thrown out, when anybody that has of prominence, and if it's not that, they have this a sacrifice, Illuminati sacrifice, and all that. And so, and as you said, regardless of their ideology, if they're known, if they're prominent and they die, it's always something. I think this is something too serious, impacting too many Black people's lives for us to just throw out, you know. So if you do have evidence, or even if you do have very strong speculation, but because I know evidence isn't easy to come by, because these peoples are masters at plausible deniability and covering their tracks. They have schools for this, you know, and we have people that whistleblowers, as we call them, that show that the government does conspire. This illegitimate state and illegitimate power has to conspire and subvert opposition because it's not justified. It can't do it on the surface. So, but I don't think it really serves to keep people safe.
Right.
Putting out this type of content and stringing together all this stuff.
Illuminati sacrifice is a fact, though. Rick said so.
Exactly. See, and that's when that bullshit, that Illuminati blood sacrifice shit gets tied in with people really having their livelihoods. You know, they don't even have to kill you. They undermine people's livelihoods. You know, they come in and they sometimes target your loved ones and just, there's a lot of people working on our behalf who are suffering without support and acknowledgement, people incarcerated, like people exiled. And for us to be, you know, bringing in and stirring the true subversion of our leaders and subversion of our movement, tying that in with Illuminati blood sacrifices, that to me is offensive, and it's a problem.
So we still supposed to read this book and discuss it. You know, there was a challenge almost several months ago that Diallo was supposed to read that Tupac. What was the name of the book? I'm pretty sure I got the PDF.
The John Potash book?
Yeah, Potash book, yeah. So
well, I was asked, you know, somebody was asking me to put it out there. I would say the same thing. Like that would be where I would start. Like I admit, you know, having interviewed him a couple times, we have a video, at least one, people can check out on the platform. I'll put the link in the show description with John Potash. If it's hard to read the work and not at least start to get a little bit. I mean, there's a lot in there. There's no smoking gun. There's no, you know, there's like, you got to put pieces together, but there's a lot out there that would suggest that what was happening with Pac is I think in a different category than some of the others. But at the same time, it's hard to assess. I mean, it's hard to determine where because some of what happens and what is exposed in the counterintelligence program papers is that some of what they consider successful operations are just setting in motion patterns of behavior for other people to engage in that will become destructive. It's not even necessarily that they have to, by one act create something. They set in motion and create conditions for people to behave in certain ways against one another. So there's all kinds of, I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard to assess. But I do agree that
another tactic of intelligence agencies is to do nothing and allow paranoia and internal distrust to run amok. You know, agent baiting and bad jacketing. So, like I said, when it comes to, I think if we have to take ourselves more seriously in the arena of counterintelligence and subversion, as opposed to anytime someone we don't like emerges, they're an agent. Anytime something happens, it's an assassination or it's a plot. And I think ultimately, not only does it distract, and it also demeans those who have actually been targeted by the state. You know, I don't throw that around loosely, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the main thing. Again, the video just started out kind of like weird, but then I only looked into two people. I looked at a whole bunch of stuff. I watched videos of them, and yeah, I was really uncomfortable with the Fred Hampton references and Walter Rock. That was a little bit wild for me. So
Yeah, and like I said, when a person making such grand claims doesn't make themselves known, and it doesn't even use their own voice. I mean, that video itself could be a COINTELPRO plot. The video itself, because remember, what was it, Nixon that said if black people want to be revolutionaries, we got to let them know they're going to be dead revolutionaries.
Well, Hoover, I think.
Hoover. But in here, go on.
No, I was saying like Coco raised something in the chat about like sometimes your family members are very like standoffish, and I'm not saying that your family members hope something bad happened to you, but I've had the personal experience. Hell, even like with Asafo, him and his twin brother are literally politically different, right? And so again, I don't want to like discredit the fact that even when something happens to you, some of your family members was like, yeah, he was talking all that bullshit. I mean, that's kind of what's going to happen or whatever. Or they can even put you in a position to actually get harmed, right? Like, and knowingly or unknowingly, they can put you in positions to get you.
Oh yeah, Kwame Ture talked about that in Black Power, in his book Black Power, about how the activists in the South were told not to tell their parents and relatives about their actions, and tell them about what was discussed in the meetings, because the sheriff come, the Klansmen come knock on the door, and you can't really be sure that the people's own relatives would not talk. But like I said, you don't really have to be militant to get in trouble in some places. Just conducting yourself with dignity and self-respect is enough to be targeted by the local authorities in many parts of this country. When I left Missouri and went to other places, I was genuinely surprised about the things many Black activists were able to do and say in a public spaces without any immediately and aggressive retaliation from established authorities. So we see they trying to expel girls for wearing natural hairstyles in other parts of the country. So I again, it is real, but making false accusations or linking unrelated circumstances and conditions harms us. It doesn't help keep us safe. But I do think we should always have protocols for securing ourselves and protocols for security of the organization, because I do think that the state, I put nothing past the state. I don't think there's any event, big or small, that the state would not engage in to preserve itself. And the state, I have to say this, and I'll leave it at that, the state doesn't just respond to active threats. It responds to perceived threats, and it responds to potential threats. So just because someone isn't, calling for the downfall of the state.
Hey, real quick. I'm just going to raise this thing that Diallo is now agreeing with Jared when he talk about Tukey Williams. The state respond to perceived threats.
Yes. Okay.
I'm just saying.
I don't think that was the disagreement. I think our disagreement was more about the validity of his redemption.
No, nobody was really even talking about the redemption. We talking about the state perceived that he could have, and then
right. I don't believe that. All right. If anything, I would say ultimately, if we have, because you want to be starting something, I would say ultimately, this man's legacy as one of being an asset to the systems and institutions of global white hegemony and capitalism.
Perceived. Even though the scientifically is not right, but perceived to be a threat. That's what he was saying. Perceived.
I disagree. I fundamentally disagree.
All right.
So
I'd say he and many of the gangs and crack dealers are very much assets. And I think that we have enough story to show that the COINTELPRO viewed gangsters and drug dealers as assets.
Hey, listen.
Not as threats.
Well, back to the birthday thing. So in October, we're gonna be in Chicago with Diallo. What's the event again? The Earn Your Leisure something.
The Earn Your Leisure World Tour of debt row.
Debt row, and we gonna find out if this is real.
Debt row rhetoric instead of death row records. It's debt row rhetoric.
Debt row rhetoric. That's
Hey,
it.
we gonna find out if this is
my
real.
God.
Because y'all gonna buy me some drinks and get me into some plant medicine, and then we'll see how fun.
So I legit signed up. I put my name on the wait list. So just to at least get, hold a spot. So I'm very happy to once we solidify, if we really I'm serious. I would want to send. I would I think we should. I don't know. We at least Geechee should go. Oh no, but you don't want to go to Chicago in October. That was the whole problem with that.
I mean,
some cold weather exposure.
Listen, I got a jacket for the first time in my life, but so maybe I might be all right. I get a jacket. I get one of Diallo's scarves. I might be good.
He ain't borrowing. You can't. Hey, yeah, you ain't getting none of my cardigans. Don't come. But yeah,
I would be interested. I would be interested in checking that out for sure.
Hey,
yeah, get a sweater.
If you're the man of the
Cosby
people,
sweater.
listen. If you're the man of the people already spoke, Diallo. So I'm gonna have to get one. I'm gonna have to get one of them off you. Thank you.
Nah, it wouldn't fit you.
Thank you,
Look
Big
on mine.
Meister.
It wouldn't fit you.
One other star, I saved this from earlier. Dwayne is I'm sure, to me, he's welcome anytime. He should probably stop writing all these tomes to let me not even go there. He's welcome whenever he'd like. Yeah, we got to check in with Diallo when we go to Chicago.
Check in. Last time my homeboy.
Yes, he is.
to
That's
town.
why he's welcome here all the time. Absolutely.
That's because he's not foundational.
Because we anti reverse backwards hashtags too. Because like I'm here. It's all soda here, baby.
He's not foundational. That's why they mad at him. He's unworthy to speak on the black condition because he's not foundational.
Hey, listen.
Oh, this Rick dude is hilarious. He's always wrong. Is always wrong. So you clearly.
Oh, he said I was wrong earlier. So now I feel good. All right. Because he said I was wrong earlier. My feelings, my ego was a bit, but he said I was wrong earlier. So if he said I'm wrong
now, yeah.
They say we should fundraise. They say we should fundraise and go see them in Ghana so we can be with Talib Kweli and Dave Chappelle. We could take a photo like them. I mean, we could be like the celebrities. Right?
I have actually never been to Ghana, so I'm down to go to Ghana. And
I actually don't want to go. I would go, but I don't want to go.
Wrong gang, wrong. Throw the W's up. You and Geechee, y'all got to join wrong gang because when he said I was wrong, I was sitting over here mad and stewing. But then he said wrong is wrong, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I got busted arthritic fingers. I can't even put up my
wrong gang. Y'all not wrong. Me and wrong.
Gang.
Now y'all right.
Yeah, there you go.
Y'all right.
Wait. I saw it in the chat.
It's wrong, bro.
The right game.
There you go.
It's wrong, bro.
Shout out to We Out. That's it. It's wrong, bro. Anyway, fellas, what else you got? Anything else? Anything else we need to get to this morning?
I'd like to I'm gonna do my Holy Ghost dance. We have a progressive mayor who beat out a overt right-wing fascist, and it was a campaign basically ran on fear-mongering, where police, the head of the police union, and several top-ranking law enforcement officials threatened that there would be blood in the streets if Paul Vallis, the corporatist, was not elected. And it's something else, because Chicago literally has, where someone had mentioned the state using gangs, and when I said gangs and drug dealers are assets of the state, where gangs in Chicago have been used to not just suppress movements, but suppress rebellions and uprisings. So, it's going to be very curious about it, because I lived in New York, where the police union successfully undermined David Dinkins by more or less allowing crime to run rampant and not in doing their job and enforcing. There was literally a police strike, and they would call him things like shoeshine boy and things of that nature. So we have a mayor who, at least going into office, the police union and the fraternal order of the police are openly hostile to the new mayor, to their new boss, to their new administrator. So, and he was at one time supporting defund the police, but he has changed that rhetoric to saying he wants to properly fund the police, meaning put more resources into investigation of homicides and mental health professionals, and having mental health professionals and social workers respond to non-violent disputes and emergency. So, it's going to be an interesting time. Yeah, I mean, up to this point, Brandon Johnson has been progressive, but a lot of times when these elected officials get into office, he just went to City Hall, I think, yesterday and met with the current mayor. And when they walk behind those rooms, I've talked to elected officials. When they walk in those rooms, there's people already in the room before they get there that's going to say, hey, this is how this works. You ran a good campaign, and we're really happy that you got these unique ideas, but this is how shit works. So is he going to continue to fight, or is he going to succumb? As I said, with any election, the voting is the beginning. It's not the end of the political process. So, shout out to Chicago, because I was very critical of Chicago, because when Lori Lightfoot lost her bid to be reelected, and everybody was online celebrating her ouster, when the number one challenger before the runoff was Paul Vallis, who was a fascist that made Lori Lightfoot look like Assata Shakur in his positions and policies. And so I'm like, y'all out here celebrating when it's not win. I said it was a premature celebration, being that the person that was in the strongest position at that moment to replace her was Paul Vallis. But now I think, it's appropriate for Chicago, the voting public in Chicago, and as some people stated, a lot of coons and toms exposed themselves. I mean, there was a lot of self-exposure. Willie Sharecropper Wilson and Jamal Green and a lot of prominent political activists sided with the police union, sided with the small but vocal MAGA right-wing Republicans in the city. They sided with the overt racists and the corporatists, the privatizers, and a lot of Black people are calling this out. So I hope we don't forget, and I hope that we have a long memory of terms of who sold us out. And someone asked, is he a Zionist? I don't know about his Zionism. When I looked into him and I voted for him, I looked into his work with the teachers union. I looked at his work around police atrocities and police predation on the community. I looked at his policies on his redistributive policies in terms of the Chicago budget and Chicago economic development. He's a mayor of a city. So even if he is a Zionist, I think he's wrong for that. I would challenge him on that. But in terms of his governance, I'm not really sure what he can do to advance the interests of Zionists. That's more of a congressional thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't a Zionist, because he's a Christian too. Damn it, you can't have everything. Well,
Geechee just sent us something.
Speaking of Zionism, like your whole boy that you got us, blocked from, Talib Kweli, he had Jon Stewart on, and they was talking about Palestine and Israel. But
can we give credit where credit is due? I mean,
go ahead.
Where can
Don't
you
try to win her
find?
back.
Huh? Can you find? Huh? Can you find? I mean,
No, I was about to
critiques
go
of
ahead,
this
Jared.
quality in mainstream media. I think it's bullshit. I think, trying to sell genocidal settler colonialism out as all these people just having disputes. It's genocidal settler colonialism, but acting as though, the Palestinian leadership is corrupt and this, that. I think it's genocidal settler colonialism. But in terms of taking off our from the point of view, I mean, where in the mainstream corporate media do you even find critiques of this depth of Israel?
I mean, that's a fair point. Go ahead, Geechee. I don't know what go ahead. Unmute yourself.
No, I was just about to tell Diallo, don't try to win cool points back with Talib. I thought he was about to.
Man, Black Star is back together and they on tour, man. Come on. I spoke too soon. 1, 2, 3. Most definitely Talib quality. Y'all want me? It's gonna be so I can't go nowhere. I didn't know he was getting back with Mos and reforming Black Star when I started bickering with him. I didn't know. He didn't tell me.
You mean
People don't tell me shit.
Yasin Bey? You mean Yasin Bey? Did he change his name again?
Oh, right. Oh, I'm sorry. No disrespect to Yasin Bey. No disrespect. He can rap good.
Go ahead, Jared.
We get a lot of passes. If you can sing, rap, dance, or got a wicked jump shot, you get a lot of passes. I didn't start this tradition in the community. I'm just upholding it.
So what do you think, Jared? This Jon Stewart, the expert, like there's a few white boys, Stephen Colbert, Jon Stewart, and probably some other ones who make their rounds through Black-owned media. So they'll be on the Charlemagne's and the Talibs, probably even Questlove, and I ain't seen him on Roland Martin yet, but I don't know. But there's these few cool ass white boys who make.
No, I think that's even too left for Roland Martin. Although I haven't watched any of Martin's content in a minute. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's the mood I'm in today. I mean, I don't. Jon Stewart is, I think what you've all just said, relative to what we get in mainstream spaces, that's an advance. I guess the two things that always come up for me are, one, I don't like even how they end there in that clip with any sort of attempt at an equivalence between Zionism and anti-Semitism. Or what Zionism is doing to Palestinians and anti-Semitism suffered by Jews. I don't like any of that at all. And then I also don't like that I'm not sure that Jon Stewart is in a position, even if he feels this way, to advocate anything other than supporting the most liberal Democratic Party representative that we get offered. So those things always ultimately bother me, because then I don't like reference to what Palestinians engage in as terrorism. So even if he was trying to give some sort of room for, their behavior to be justifiable, I don't like that kind of reference. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just frustrated, I guess, in general by the whole the conversation and what the limits that are put on it and where we never seem to get with it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the it escapes me. IDF, the Israeli Defense Force just raided the Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Right.
And they were like, why did you raid the Al-Aqsa Mosque? And they said they were literally, that Palestinians were stockpiling. The Palestinians were stockpiling rocks inside the Al-Aqsa Mosque. This nuclear power, third largest military budget in the world. They said the reason we raided the Al-Aqsa Mosque was because they were stockpiling rocks in the mosque for rebellion. And so to anybody talking about, well, Hamas, is really obscene. But again,
no, but look at the story we just get today. This is 6 hours ago from the BBC. Israel strikes Lebanon and Gaza after major rocket attacks. A barrage of 34 rockets fired from Lebanon. And I'm sure they don't describe what these rockets actually are and what they are not in terms of their potential for damage. And to your point, against a nuclear powered $1 billion infused state. But anyway, yeah,
it's so much worse than that, because Israel is not party to any of the like anti-cluster bomb, anti-white phosphorus. They have refused to sign any of those treaties. So Israel is using weapons that are outlawed throughout most of the world, and most other regimes have signed and said. I'm not saying they don't have their secret stockpiles, but Israel has allowed for itself to legally and openly use weapons that have been outlawed by some of the most murderous militarist regimes that even the United States shouldn't be using. On top of that, when they say they bombed Gaza, Gaza is an open air prison. It would be equivalent to the United States government bombing Rikers Island. It would be equivalent, to them bombing,
I like that comparison. No, that's a good comparison. And also, and because the people, the prisoners on Rikers pose just as much a threat to the United States as the Palestinians pose to Israel.
Exactly. That's because Gaza has the highest land density. Well, they mostly do land density by country, but Gaza has the highest land density of any region on the planet. If it were its own country, if it did receive state, it would have the highest land density. So Israel, when it bombs Gaza, it is bombing an open air prison that they have full surveillance on. So it's genocidal neo-colonialism. It is genocidal settler colonialism. It is not two warring factions. This also where a lot of people say, oh, this goes back to the Bible. This has nothing to do with the Bible. This is not an old biblical, they've always been fighting over there. These people, the Zionists, are not native to the land. Even it's even inconsistent with Quranic prophecies and the promises of Yahweh. This is nothing but raw. This is manifest destiny quality shit. This is Trail of Tears, manifest destiny type genocidal genocide that is happening in the modern era.
So if the Bible is Parenti's book, then yeah, this goes back to the Bible, because Parenti was talking about this misinformation between superpowers and people who are not able to even pose a threat to the superpowers. And then, by the way, you lost your wrong category, because Rick said he agreed with you. So
God damn it,
you ain't no more with the
Rick
wrong
is even
cat.
talking about subscribing to the channel, which everybody should do, by the way. If you haven't subscribed or liked or shared, come on now, you fronting. Listen, even the haters should be liking and subscribing and sharing, because
we almost hit 400 in the chat. So I'm pretty sure that was Tariq Pips that came through for a little while, and then they left. So now we dropping. See, all Tariq people, they leaving now. We was almost at 400.
But and all that to say, I think it is an indictment of the mainstream discourse in the West, in the U.S., the people, because the war against the Palestinian, many people, Steve Coakley have said or even Dick Gregory said, Israel is the 51st state.
Mm-hmm.
So we as U.S. citizens can't even sit back and be like, look at what they're doing over there. That is U.S. Not only does U.S. fund and arm Israel, the U.S. provides cover for Israel on the international stage in the UN, because Israel's not on the Security Council. And because a lot of times you'll see votes to condemn or to intervene in that genocide, and it only takes one vote to scuttle any type of international action from the Security Council, which the UN is a whole nother piece of shit bullshit. But the United States provides cover. The war against Palestine and the genocide against the Palestinians is a proxy war for the United States. And one more thing, everything empires do abroad, they bring home. There's never been an imperial power that went abroad to commit atrocities, and those atrocities did not eventually be leveled against the citizens of the empire. So you're living in a state that is financing, funding, initiating genocide. And you will be confronted with those same weapons, those same tactics, those same justifications against U.S. citizens. So even if it's not in your backyard, it's way over there. You know, the planet is a fishbowl. Ain't nothing happening on this planet that don't eventually wash back or come back to you.
There it is. There it is. So let me just encourage folks who are requesting certain stories be covered or more news be covered on the show or whatever. Remember to stay in touch with the channel, the entire platform, beyond just any one given show, because not all of us can do all of everything in one episode, and there's a lot to cover and a finite number of people and resources. But in terms of bricks, international news, and some other requests, whether it's this show, Diallo's individual show, my own, or many others on the platform, all of these issues have and will continue to be covered. So just make sure you stay tuned and keep supporting the entire platform, and we'll likely get to much of what you would like us to get to. So just a quick note on that. Yeah, including the remix morning show, etc., and so forth. So yeah, anything else we need to get to this morning, fellas? I might have to jump off here in a couple seconds if we're still going on. Thank you very much, Sugar Shan. Appreciate you as well. And definitely make sure everybody's liking, sharing, subscribing. Find a way to support the channel. If you can do it financially through all the various ways that you can find at blackpowermedia.org, please do. If not, just simply like, share, subscribe. All of that is free. But if you can become a member of the channel, support through Patreon. And we definitely want to push people to support the website, blackpowermedia.org, just in case anything ever funky happens with anything on the platform. You'll always have that spot to get access to what's happening with the channel and all of our content. So blackpowermedia.org as well. Anyway, fellas, anything else? What else?
Oh, the Bro Diallo show, my local radio show here back in Chicago, has my YouTube has reached 3,000 subscribers. It's a milestone. So, feel free, if you see me in the street, you want to come up and take a selfie with me. I'm not going to let this go to my head. I'm still a man of the people. So don't you feel like you can't, shout me out, I'll wave you over. Don't worry about the security guards and bodyguards. So, I'm still keeping both my feet on the ground. I ain't gonna forget where I come from. That's all. I just want to let people know.
Diallo, I need you to change your bottom subtitle to 3 stacks.
Yes, 3 stacks.
Diallo 3 stacks.
That's right.
Yeah, so,
that's right.
Yeah, shout out to the supporters. Shout out to the community.
And make sure you see the latest episode of your show on this platform as well. I caught at least some of it with Josephus.
Yeah.
And sister, was it Natalie? Massage Noir discussion. Fascinating stuff. People gotta go check that out as well. And definitely help Diallo get over that, continue to grow on his own platform. Same thing with BarterBuild. Keep bringing all that to the platforms associated here. And because Diallo is all about that. He's expensive, man. You gotta come up with that loot if you want to keep that Bro Diallo. And we still trying to get Guru Diallo to make an appearance too. So
like I said, he's out there reverberating. It's Ramadan. So it's the holy month.
You said he's out there reverberating with the
Porch's top thought leader.
Yeah, he's out there. Anyway, good people, remixers, thanks for coming through this morning. Big shout out. Anything real quick, Geechee, ain't my bad. Anything?
Well, I'm trying to take a rest this week, but now I have to go practice some boxing and some Angola capoeira because y'all about to send me into a damn ambush. So I gotta go practice my capoeira so I can get fresh without energy.
Please don't do that. Just take the ass whooping. Ain't nothing worse than somebody to try to do some moves before they get their ass beat. Just go straight to the ass beat. Don't go viral.
I'm taking one of them
Don't
niggas home.
become a hashtag, man. You reflect us.
Hey, I gotta run.
Fetal position.
My guy is here, fellas.
Hey,
I'm out.
I'm gonna call a hospital and order 2 rooms because somebody going with me. Peace.
All right, peace, everybody. Only if you
Don't be out there doing cartwheels when they step
Fred
to you,
Hampton
man.
used to
Stop
say.
it.
Catch you next time here on Earn Your Liberation and throughout the platform of EPM. Peace, everybody. Thanks again.
All right, now.